All right, and I'll share the agenda. Is that right? No, we can definitely turn that off. Hang on one second. Got it. Okay, give me
Yay.
one more second I have to can't do more than one at one time here. Let me grab the other. Here we go. More than one at a time. I don't know how my colleague does it for the council meetings because I am just not great at this part. Okay.
All right.
There it
Okay.
is.
Super. Well, I am calling this meeting of the Board of Elections to order. And we believe that everyone who's able to attend tonight's meeting who's on the board is here. We wanted to approve the agenda is
So moved.
and seconded, and I saw Evan's thumbs go up. And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Um, I did just send something to the group from Jahira, who sent it to me yesterday, the day before, and I read it and I was like, oh, this looks good. And I forgot to send it to everybody. But it was her analysis of our Board of Elections materials and other districts. It's about a page and a half. It's a pretty quick read.
It's
But
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so we can go over that maybe. It's not on here because I forgot to send it to everybody because it looked fine. But okay. So the first thing on our agenda is approval of minutes. Do we need to do that this time, Jessica, or
We have minutes from our last meeting.
excellent? Here are the meeting minutes from last January and January. I don't, it looks pretty darn straightforward to me. Anybody have any, um,
I missed them, but I'm sure they're great.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's
I
okay.
don't know. Okay.
I'm on,
Yes.
I'm on a new committee at work and I have been charged with doing the meeting minutes and finding that correct amount of detail to put in them is exceedingly difficult. It does not come naturally to me. So do we have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
Seconded. And Evan is raising his hand and all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
And
Okay.
I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't at the
Okay.
meeting.
Okay. And okay. And then I think the next thing on our agenda, it will be Jessica's download of all of her updates.
So these they're not too extensive. We talked about it at the last meeting because I was noticing some fiscal note requests coming in on municipal elections. So I compiled just a list of bills that were going through the General Assembly right now. These are bills that relate specifically to municipal elections. And some of them are really interesting. I left a couple on here that are local boards. That might actually be county, but I thought it could even be municipal. It just really depends. But I didn't see anything that concerned me quite yet. I mean, it looks like there's some legislation relating to electronic transmission systems. So that would really be the online voting, that type of component. Information on candidates and voting procedures. I can't remember, but this one was just a very standard requiring, some sort of a listing of qualified candidates. That It didn't raise any alarm because, of course, we're so early into the session, but it is cross filed, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. There was a lot of information about reporting requirements to the state board, which was different. And if you remember at this last election, we had to report the town's election results directly to the state versus to the county, and they had to upload it onto their website. It was actually a pretty standard thing. It was new for them too. So I imagine we'll probably have that come up again because we're required to report the dates of our elections, which, are pretty, they don't change. So
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting, just more direct contact with the state board than we've had in the past. So we'll see how this all shakes out. Just in comparison, I ran a report on just legislation that relates to elections. And this is just all of the different pieces of legislation that are going through right now that have something to do with elections. The one that I found most interesting was a pilot program for curbside voting. So I was kind of excited about that. But this is really not necessarily relating to municipal elections, but more just elections in general to see what's being discussed at the state level. So that's really what I wanted to share was just that we have, it's really busy right now during the General Assembly session. We've got lots going on. And I'd mentioned to Kate that this seems to be a year that the town has been way more involved than we've had to be. So I just wanted to share what I had seen with the election legislation. So, of course, we just have to see where it all shakes out. I'm not saying that we need to do anything necessarily, but I just thought it was interesting to kind of see what was going on out there. So that was all I had with that item. The 2027 town budget, when we talked at the last meeting, I just mentioned that I would tell you how much we had spent in 2025, and let me pull that up. We spent $27,353.30 on our last election. I think I'd have to double check, but I think we budgeted might have been 40,000. I kept our budget, our request for this year the same as last year, or in 2027 or 2025, the same as 2027, because we had so much money left over. I know we want to do more, like more outreach and all of that good stuff, but I think because we purchased certain things in 2025 that we won't have to purchase in 2027, I think it should shake out. So let me know if you feel differently or you think we should reevaluate the budget altogether. But I think for now, we can really say for sure that what we budgeted last time worked well. And if we feel like we need to include, it's going to be a tough budget year. It always is. So I didn't want to go too far out,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
So we still have plenty of wiggle room. And if we end up using the same vendor and doing early voting and all of those things similarly to what we did in 2025, we should be fine.
Okay.
As long as
Okay.
there's a large cost, I mean, it's not going to be $10,000 increase in the cost of the vendors, but I would assume there's some increase just because everything is more expensive.
Everything is more expensive. And we printing costs will probably be still high. Who knows what postage will be like for
Yeah.
the mailed ballots. We'll have to see where some of these things shake out. So, unless we're planning on something like a full mail-in election, I didn't think we had enough time to actually get that through the council. So, figuring that we could probably keep it pretty similar to what we did, cost-wise, process-wise, it's totally up to you. Um, and then I think the only other thing, town attorney. So I announced at the last meeting that town attorney Sussman passed away unexpectedly. And it was just like a really big shock to all of us. And I was going back and working on some old minutes for the board, and I realized that our timeline was based on him being out and then coming back in December, and then he wasn't back in December, and then we got this terrible news. And so we are in the process of putting out an RFP. So I think it'll go out maybe Monday. We have the scope of work and everything is down,
Okay.
like good to go. I think the one thing, typically when we put an RFP on the street, we like to keep it out for about a a month. It usually takes about a month to go through the process.
Yeah,
So I don't know what to expect from this, but we certainly need an attorney in place to review the election manual and do all of those things. And so what I wanted, this kind of relates to the timeline, is we have a little bit more time to refine the election manual. Like we don't have to rush and finish it, this month. No matter what, no matter who becomes the town attorney, there's going to be some time that they need to acclimate to
right.
everything, get caught up on all the things that we have
Yeah.
going on. And so we've just got a few months, I think, before we have anybody we can loop into that. We do have an attorney that we're working with, and I mentioned this before, and she's fantastic, and we can bring her in, but it's going to take her time she's going to have to review all of the code and the charter and
Right.
then get to the
Yeah.
election
It's a lot
manual.
to do.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give you an idea on timeline. We have plenty of time. I think at the last legislative meeting I added in John's report, the town manager's report, that the board is working on the elections manual. We're still moving right along. And at some point, the board may want to talk to the council just preemptively, like this is what we're doing. And then we'll have something for them to look at and react to. So I'm not concerned about the time. I just wanted to give you an idea of kind of what we had going on. So
I think
this
it would
kind of
be
changes a
nice.
lot.
I think it would be nice to actually finish what we want to do though, instead, you know what I mean? I feel like so much in the world is just kicking cans down the road. It would
Yeah,
be nice to go, okay, we've gotten it to a place, we can close it, and now it's just waiting for the attorney to get settled and then we can move forward. So I feel like I still want to kind of wrap it up.
yep,
So does that sound reasonable to everybody else? Yeah, okay.
yep. We've been working on it for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just see where we are here. And I think that gets us into the draft manual. And I added to the Dropbox the document that Kate circulated, I think maybe a week or so ago. So the most up-to-date version is there.
Which one would it
And
be?
go ahead, Evan. I'm sorry.
Which document is it?
Let me see here. Stop sharing. I think I did not have that open. It's in the folder called Draft Elections Manual. It's a Word document. And it's within the meeting materials folder.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. And it
The
didn't
one with all the
convert it.
comments.
Yep.
Okay. I
Yep.
just wanted to make sure that I had the right one.
Yep. And Kate has been adding the date, which has been really helpful because I also did the same thing. I was like, oh, is this the right version? But that makes it a lot easier. Sorry, just give me 1 second and I can pull that up here. There it is. So we have, Kate, did you want to talk about the changes that you made between the version that we had and this most updated? Oh, I'm sorry, you're muted. I couldn't hear you.
Sorry. I don't have my copy with me because I got stuck at work, so I didn't get home in time. Everything should be tracked that I did.
Oh,
And
got
I
it.
may have that was the big change. Thank you for having that. Is that I took out all of those references to specific parts of the charter and the code.
Perfect.
And after that, and like little copy editing kind of stuff that I saw as I was going through it. I still haven't compiled all of the stuff for Appendix B, which is all the forms. And it's just that I haven't done it. And there's things that I need to track down, like the oath. And then other, it's all that kind of thing, making cap and lowercase stuff match. Um, oh, I replaced that one section about policing with this. That that I wanted just to cut out the discussion about police. It's the job of the elections officials to make sure that things are orderly and safe. And what that does is, remember, we had language in there that, and I'm sorry I don't have it, that it was something like, the police will be available and can intervene at any time, and they're in the building and all of that other stuff. I just went in the direction of not mentioning them.
Yep.
And I got rid of Challenger because I understood that that was something that we didn't want. We want to just call people watchers. And so it was convenient to have removed that code citation because then we can just talk about watchers.
Really great.
Yep.
I have the oath, Kate, so I can get that to you to
Great.
add. So I'll send that along.
Great.
Um,
And
so
I
I
just
think,
have to go through the old forms and find them. I'll get them.
yeah. The only thing I never found a watcher form in all the time that I've been with the town. Like I knew there has to be some sort of a
There
form.
was one a
Okay.
way back long time ago, and we could invent one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Like write our own one.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to
Based
do it,
on,
Evan?
yeah, that sounds like a good job. You can go investigate what other towns do and come back with a suggestion for us.
It might be
Like,
pretty simple to Google. I mean,
yeah,
there
I
may
mean,
be
Yeah.
several
I
options
could
online.
probably find it.
I bet
So
you
like
can.
you want like let's say like five surrounding towns, like their
Just
doctrine, if
check
they
and see
have
what they
it,
say.
Yep.
Love
if they
it.
Perfect.
have it,
Yep.
Well,
just
Oh,
almost
and
every
they will.
place that has
I would think they
elections
would.
Yeah.
has everybody's got a provision for that. And
Yep.
you can, under federal law,
Yep.
you have to allow people to come in and observe. And so what the form would say is what you're allowed, what you're not allowed, and who's got to send you. In most cases, you get sent by a candidate.
Mm.
So
Okay.
there you go.
I'm definitely gonna put a reminder on my phone for
Yay.
that.
Thank
How
you.
That's
how would
awesome.
how would folks feel? I don't know if this would be a change to code or if it's just a change to our uh procedures, but I hate the word watcher.
Oh,
It
what would you
sounds
prefer? Observer?
terrible. Yeah, most places say election observer.
Okay.
Okay.
How would
Yep.
folks feel about
That's
using
fine.
100%.
Heather,
Yep.
is it because you saw that horror movie called The Watcher?
watcher in the
That's
woods?
what I
Oh,
keep
I
thinking about.
did. I did see that
Yeah.
I
movie, and
did
I
I
think
not.
I've watched that movie too
I
here and
now
there.
hate
I
horror
did
movies and
not.
will not ever watch another one ever again.
Never
Yes,
ever.
I
Um,
like that. I like
No,
Observer.
observer's better.
yeah,
Yep.
watcher just seems like
Right. It's
something
Yeah.
bad is
meaner.
happening.
Yes, it seems kind of lurky.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
we could have election lurkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Sarah takes it that one step
And
further.
above that is right there is the Dropbox copy that Terry added, and I changed it a little bit just to match up with what we have.
Whoopsie. Looks like we need to update the website, or I should say that somebody that works for Jessica needs to update the website.
Where is it on the website that's wrong? Tell me.
It says she has Heather linked to the page.
Oh, let me
In the
see here.
chat, I was just going to put the date of the election on my calendar so that I don't travel again during this election. And when I went to look at the date, it
Oh,
said 2021, which is not the
Yeah.
date.
No.
yeah, I'll take a look at that. I'll take a look at that.
Thanks.
I might not even have been, it might not have even been updated yet for the next few years. So that might be a cache page, but I'll take a look.
Yeah.
Thanks for sending that over real quick. Um, Sorry, I jumped ahead and my brain was looking at these other things. This looks really good.
Yep.
This is our alternative voting site. That was the Crescent Cities.
And Kate, you have a section here I just saw on the right a little bit further up about do we need to add Spanish language services?
I think
I
we should mention it.
I'd
Yeah,
love for us to explicitly say that instead of just,
Yeah.
if you need help, ask for it. I'd love for us to
right.
be
Would you
explicit.
object to going in and either doing that or sending me something that I can put in?
I don't know that I would object to it, but I don't know that I.
I have it open right now,
Yeah,
so
can we do the language right now? What should it
Yeah.
say?
Sure.
let me see if I can make this work. Okay. Oh geez, why did that happen? Um,
Word hates you.
it does. The word I've been having a lot of issues with Word these past few days. I don't know if there's something
There's
that's
an update that just came out that's really bad.
really frustrating me. The Dropbox voting booth. Okay, so this must be it here. Assistance upon request.
Yeah.
Um,
Why don't we add a whole new section called, and you could just type it into the comment box if you want. We can work
yep,
on it later.
Yeah.
And call it Spanish language services.
yep.
Okay, so being a person who does enterprise risk management for a nonprofit that is potentially in the crosshairs of the federal government, I just
Uh-huh.
wanted to know, us to acknowledge as a group that this will raise our threat level. I don't
Oh,
know how
yeah.
else to put it. Okay, by calling it out. I am
Okay.
not saying we shouldn't, and I know that's one of the reasons Heather wants to do it. But I just want us to, as a group, acknowledge that that's what we're doing, and so just so I'm totally, I support it, but I just want to make sure that we understand that, because we as members of the Board of Elections will be targeted potentially.
Can we repeat exactly what it is? I was listening.
That's fine. What we're talking
I
about,
just need to make sure that I understand what's
yeah,
gonna happen.
questions are always encouraged, and sometimes answered. So what we're talking about is we always have somebody who speaks Spanish come to be present when we're doing elections, and we want to, and it is kind of rolled in the current version with assistance upon request, so that if you need assistance, so like if you are blind, we don't have a braille thing, so somebody has to read things out loud to you, that kind of stuff. And the Spanish language, it was kind of not specifically pulled out, and Heather wants it pulled out because we want it to be very clear that this is something that we proactively make sure that we have. And I just was saying, I totally support it, but just because of the nature of discourse in this country right now, we as members of the Board of Elections can be our potential targets of people who don't like what we put into our manual or how we run elections. And so when we add stuff like this, we are potentially making ourselves be seen as a threat to other people's perspectives, and they may feel inclined to attack us more. I am completely comfortable with that, but I just wanted to make sure the rest of everyone else understands that might happen.
So we're essentially adding to this document that we're going to have a Spanish speaking person on deck so that they would understand it.
Yep.
Okay.
And that we'll have materials printed as well in Spanish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything
that
is
makes
in
sense.
Spanish and
Yep.
English.
Yep. It
I
certainly
mean-
makes, we are 60% Spanish language in Riverdale. It makes no sense.
That's what I was about to point out, the fact that we
Yeah.
are a very heavily Latino. We have
Yep.
a massive Latino population. It's a massive part of our environment, so we might as well print stuff in their language just to make sure that even the people that don't understand English can at least understand how the election's gonna go. I think that's the best move.
Yep.
Because it gets the most people involved in the election process.
Wholeheartedly agree.
So I just
Thank you.
put some language in there, Kate, that
Yeah,
you can play
we'll
around.
work on it. Yep. Does that seem okay to everybody? Would just add that as a new section, right? somewhere,
Yep.
wherever it makes sense. Okay, good. Thank you.
If somebody comes along and says, why don't you have Mandarin? We just say that based on the population of our town, we have people who
There's
speak the
actually
two.
there's
Yeah.
actually guidance from the DOJ about this.
Yeah.
Um, for Maryland, Prince George's County
Oh,
is
thank you.
listed as needing to provide interpretation for Hispanic voters. Montgomery County as well. So the DOJ has a list, the link, I just put the link in the chat.
Yep.
Great.
So it's not a courtesy, it's the law, and we're just saying that we're doing what
Right.
the law requires.
And so far, they haven't tossed this section of the Federal Register, so we're
Correct.
good.
How do we know that they haven't tossed it?
It's still on the DOJ
We
website.
can look it up. Yeah. Well, not
Okay.
only that, but a person could look it up.
Okay.
A person could look it up.
Kate, are we
I
going to do a sample tally sheet too? We had this
Yep.
issue before. Okay.
Yep.
I know we had a
Right.
problem, and I was going to put that into goes in Appendix B.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Is
just
that all
noting.
right? Yes,
Yeah.
please add a note. Please add a note so I don't forget. Thank you.
It's complicated, and I think it's going to take a couple iterations.
Yeah.
One thing that I keep forgetting to get from my coworker, and I'm going to put it on when we're done with this meeting, I'm going to write him an email. Is he lives in DC, and he's very active in the home rule movement. And he also works for volunteers with people who put the elections materials together for DC. And he found an organization that does design work for free for elections, for municipal elections. And so that they have models. So like we can ask them, hey, help us with our mail-in ballots and all of our envelopes and make sure that everything works in two languages and stuff, and that they could potentially help us for free. So I will find that out and I will share it with everybody.
Oh, that would be so great.
Yes.
The only thing I was thinking about, and I don't know, it might not even be something to talk about with the election manual per se, but um, I had so much anxiety over the years with the mail, like the absentee mail-in ballots and like getting them out and getting them back in time. It's just so tough to do. And I don't know if it makes sense for us to maybe mail them out ourselves versus having them done by
Oh,
the company, because then you add that time onto coming from New Jersey to here. Um, I was just thinking about that. That might be something we want to think about doing differently next time around.
I
That's
didn't even
just,
know that that was possible. So what would
yeah,
happen, Jessica, is they would print everything, box it up, and ship it to us.
yeah.
And
Or
then,
it's a sample or all of it.
All of it.
Okay.
They would just like we could have them overnight it to
Yep.
us, like, and we
yeah,
could then the board could assemble the absentee mail-in ballots. Then we know for a
Yeah.
fact everything's going in the right way. And then we can mail the first batch even before the deadline hits
right,
and do a second batch after the deadline hits. And
right.
then the last minute ones, perhaps you could take two election judges and hand deliver them so that
Yeah,
we don't have to worry. It's just one of those things, like it breaks my heart every time the ballots come in after the election day, and then
yeah.
it's so hard to get it around. So just something to consider. We can
Yep.
have the language as it's probably just fine the way it is in the election manual, but maybe we don't have the vendor do it this year. We do it ourselves.
I think it makes sense considering how wonky the postal service is.
Yeah.
In Riverdale Park, what is the deal with the postal
It's
service?
not just Riverdale Park. It's everywhere. It's
Grief.
Yeah,
at work. We get mail to other people and other buildings and other organizations all the time. And you're like, how is this in our mail?
Yeah. What were you saying, Heather?
Yeah, no, I'm on the board of an organization, and I pick up the organization's mail, which is picking up checks. And almost every time I pick it up like once every 3 weeks or so, and almost every time there's at least one check that was written 2 months ago.
Oh
It's
gosh.
so I would highly recommend for things like this that are time sensitive, that means someone's
Yeah.
disenfranchised if we miss a deadline or they miss a deadline. I would highly encourage us to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is that, the post office now, the Postal Service has new rules concerning postmarks. And that is that the postmarks are now added when they get to the mail handling facility, unless you specifically request a
Mm.
postmark like a hand stamp. And so the reason, that's part of that whole election berserkers that's going on right now, where in some places, they're trying to tighten up rules so that a ballot can't be counted unless it is received by time X, which is how we do it. But in a state like Nevada, they have relied on the postmark date. So it's got to be postmarked by the end of the day on election day. And so that's something else that we want to be aware of, is that when we mail them, we need to walk them into the post office and hand them over. I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
that's the safest, but we'll put that into the procedures.
Yep.
I think that as the part of the chain of custody thing is not putting them into a mailbox.
Yeah.
Not that there shouldn't be anything wrong with it. But the quickest way to the mail handling facility is to hand it over the counter.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Okay.
that's something that we can improve for
Right.
2027.
Okay.
Just one more thing just to bring up. And I think Heather, you've asked me about this over the years, is like data collection and like what we want to track moving forward and how we want to do that. So it matters how we tally the election results and how we handle everything after the election as far as uh, any sort of statistical data you want to have. So we won't necessarily have that for people who are on app, the supplemental voter registry, but for everybody else, the county tracks a lot of that data. So I just think we might want to think about that. It doesn't have to be right now, but just how we want to like track the data moving forward and be a little better with trends and seeing how successful we are with different techniques and outreach efforts. And so just somewhere we want to make sure
Yeah.
we deal with that. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
You have to define success and then measure for it.
Yeah. Yep. And then let's see where
Do you
this
want to look at what Jahira sent now before we move on to
yeah, let me pull
next
that
one?
up here. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Can everyone see the comparison document?
Yep. I asked her if there's anything in specific in here that she felt like that was most important for us to look at. She said no, just basically what she had called out in our meeting last week or last month. Um, and we give Heather a little bit of time to take a look at it.
Hmm. Well, I think we handled the language diversity
I think
piece
we did.
today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, Maybe we can look at there's a form for the voter assistance, a state of Maryland form. So maybe there's language we can pull off of there that might be important. I do think we need to look at, I need to become more familiar with the chain of custody piece of it. That's
Yep.
something
Yeah.
Kate has spoken to every year. Tamper tape. I don't know what that is, so maybe I'll
That's the tape we
find
put
that.
on that you got, that
Okay.
the sign on. Yeah. Yeah. We just, because the last year was the first year we really had to do it because of early voting and all of that. And so we just need to actually, I think, write down what we try to do, and then next election we'll test it. Or we go and do a dry run and test it, make sure that our chain of custody stuff makes sense.
Yeah.
On number 4,
Mhm.
it mentions College Park's manual and exit pollers. Do they do exit polling?
When the election that Kate and I did, were election judges at, they had exit pollers, but the exit pollers were there as members of a nonprofit that was asking about technology that they were testing in College Park.
Ah,
Okay,
okay.
so it wasn't exit polling to see who had won, but it was exit polling about elections in general and things like that. So that's why they,
Yeah. It was a new process. They wanted to see how people
how
reacted.
people felt about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it made me think about, related to our last conversation about, well, a couple conversations tonight about budget and how we want to be thinking about doing outreach and spending in relation to that, and also thinking about people's experience at the polls. I wonder whether, I mean, I know getting people to volunteer in the town is not always awesome, but I wonder if there might be some folks who would be willing to, do a 2-hour shift to ask people about their experience. Um, just in thinking about, like, how did you find out about the election? Have you voted in Riverdale Park before? Do you have any suggestions for how we could make it more accessible? I wonder if it may be worth putting that ask out and seeing if, I mean, much closer to the election, of course, but
Yeah.
actually doing sort of like a customer service type survey afterwards.
I love that.
That's a,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a great idea.
Yep. Something very short and iPad-like.
Well, that might be, we've talked about getting the students involved at the high schools that maybe are
Yep.
part of the student government. And if we put together the survey and just put it on an iPad, like you were
Yeah.
saying, we could have a couple of the students do that. We have that nice patio now outside of like the
Yep.
council chambers. So as people are like leaving, that might be
Yep.
something we could do.
And we could do some for a few hours on each day.
Yeah.
Yeah. College Park also had, I think, an online survey that people could
Oh,
take. Do you
Yeah,
remember that, Sarah?
yeah, they did. They had a place you could go online and
Yeah,
talk about your voting experience and what you thought worked and didn't work and things like that.
right. So,
yeah, I don't know if we have enough people who
yeah,
vote to make an online post survey make sense. I mean,
yeah,
it's better that if we can't get volunteers or
yeah.
students or someone else, it's better than nothing.
We
Uh,
could hand out postcards.
well,
QR
I was
code.
also,
You could have a QR code upon leaving. Hey, take a picture of this QR code and fill in our short survey.
yep. I was also wondering whether it may be worth us doing something like that before we start planning for 2027, just to see, based on your experience in 2025, what recommendations do you have for 2027?
Yep.
And just, solicit ideas that way as well.
Right.
And
What
even
will
if
get
nothing
you to
comes
come
through,
out to vote? What would
yes,
it take to get
yes.
you to the polling?
Right.
Free ice
Right.
cream.
That's right.
That was one of the things when I did a NLC National League of Cities election training last year. They had like a DJ and food giveaway. I mean, it sounded like so much fun, but it was
Right.
interesting just
Yeah.
the methods we're all using trying to get folks to come out and vote and make it feel more, welcoming and community oriented, all that stuff. So, anyways, I
Still have a
love.
beer truck.
Yeah.
And Kate, I remember you've told that story still just like I can't even think about that.
Right.
Oh.
No, you don't want to. You don't want
There is something about electioneering boundaries. I don't know how clear we are in that. I know that Kate gets riled about that every year. And
I do.
yes, so I know that there are like guidelines that are provided by the federal stuff and the state stuff, but do they make sense based on the way our setup? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Do we want to say something along the lines of like,
Oh, we should add, if we don't have that in the manual now,
yeah,
we should say 25 feet from the door.
yeah,
Easy. That's
yeah,
easy, right?
yeah,
And I think that's what we do. I don't know if
yeah.
it's in the manual.
Well,
Yeah.
It
last
may
year
be
we
in the
we
procedures.
made them go stand across the street.
Right. Well,
So
maybe that we need to measure from the door to the other side of the street.
Yeah, we can definitely look at those things.
yep.
Yeah.
I was looking at number 5 on Jahara's list, the
Mhm.
equipment specific instructions.
Yep.
Um, we could get the information. I mean, I'm sure the information is pretty standard because it's an optical scanner type thing. I think it's optical. I think that's what it's called.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we could probably get that, those specifics. And then we have instructions that we blew up and translated that told people how to fill in the boxes. So
Yeah.
we can pull those things out and put them in here,
Right.
Yep.
um, to kind of address that piece of it.
I also think that
Yep.
what we should do in that section is the stuff about at the beginning of elections that we have to go and say that everything is zero. This, and that we mark all of the stuff is zero, and then at the end we sign off everything is, and so that there's certain things like that in there.
Is it okay for that stuff to be in Appendix A?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be revised
Yep.
every time. We're gonna have some new thing. Okay.
Yep. I think it
Cool,
makes
cool.
sense to have something that says the equipment is
Right.
monitored and approved by the Board of Elections, and the details are included in an appendix that is updated
Right.
each election.
Okay.
And so are we
Number
talking about putting, sorry, I'm not sure if I'm understanding. Are we talking about putting in equipment specific instructions that are specific to the vendor of that equipment? Or here is how optical scanning works and it's agnostic of vendor?
Yeah, agnostic of vendor,
Okay.
because it could change.
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't think I mean, the state has even moved away from completely electronic voting. So we probably will always have something where we have a hard ballot, like an actual ballot that can be counted and all of that. So probably the optical scanning, but we can take a look at that too.
Yep.
So that can be something I can look at on what I have on file from the vendor versus, and I think what they send me is just pretty standard. Um, any optical scanner, this brand or this
Instructions. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
probably,
I don't think we should put anything that's
yeah.
vendor specific, but
No,
for
in the
if folks want
in
to
the
understand how it
manual,
works.
in the manual itself, we say that I think there's a section toward the beginning of the manual that says that the town council will specify the manner and means or whatever. And so in the manual itself, I tried to keep that pretty vague because it may change.
yeah.
And I don't want to put something in there that's going to cause
Have to redo everything.
somebody to call a code on it and have to go back and do it. So in the manual itself, I think we've got that. And then we can, for each time, we should specify in the procedures book for election judges how it's going to work.
Okay. I don't know a lot about the mail-in ballot intake process. Is that something you feel like needs to be developed? That was something that Jahara pointed out that we didn't have a lot of information about that.
Well,
That's an Appendix A thing.
yeah.
Oh,
too.
okay.
Yeah.
Appendix A.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but and just we have Kate and I have been honing it every year. We make it a little bit better.
Right.
And then part of the mail-in ballot stuff there to me has to go back to when we get different sites for collecting ballots, right? That there's going to have to be some language about getting them from the other drop boxes, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So that's got to kind of go in there too, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was a really good summary.
Yep.
It's
I thought you
brilliant.
did a nice job.
Yep.
Really nice job.
Yep.
Okay, so that, let's see where we ended up there.
I feel very much more like we've done due diligence because of this work. It feels much more like solid.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. I agree. So we're still going to just talking about timeline. By the time we come together next week, I'm sorry, next month, we'll have had time to review some of the stuff we talked about today. And then Evan's going to do some research on some of the forms. There's a few language things that I've added, like comments to that we talked about. And then looking at Jahara's summary, there might be a couple more things we want to do. So continuing the refinement. And Kate, we should send anything like anyone thinks of between now and then to you directly, right?
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah.
If people don't mind, then that way I can
No, we don't
compile
mind
it.
you doing all the work. It's okay.
You're funny. I sent out, and I sent that note and I haven't heard anything and I'm not sure I'm going to, but we'll
Yep.
see.
If you want help or need help in any part of the Appendix A stuff, just reach out to us
I
and
will
we'll do our
holler.
best.
I will holler.
Okay.
Yep.
Don't, wear yourself out.
Okay.
Okay, the last thing I think. Oh, sorry, shouldn't have yawned. But it has to do with looking at mass quantities of data and checking to see if it's right, which just the idea of it makes me tired. So take it away, Jessica.
Me too. So every year, whether it's an election year or not, we have to do the street files extent approval. And so really it's just making sure that nothing like wonky happened between the one that we approved last year and this year. Typically it's not, there are no changes. We don't have new streets or new properties that have been added that I'm aware of, but we need to approve it. So
Yeah.
I put it in the Dropbox folder. I'm sure people need a little bit of time to kind of go through
Yeah.
and make
Is
sure.
the old one in there too?
I think it is not in the Dropbox, but I'll look and see if it's from, I can find
Okay.
it from last year.
That would be great. And then that way can we just check the new one against the old?
Yep, that's what I
That's
would
a
do.
proofreading job. No
Yeah.
problem.
So that should be pretty nice and easy. And
Yeah.
then the only things that I'm asked to do is just say when our next election will be, 2027, provided we don't have anything crazy happen. And then we typically just have to say where our polling place is. And I think that's kind of everything. It's the same form every single year. It's not crazy. The biggest thing is the
Yeah.
shape file.
Right.
So I'll make sure that the one we approved last year is somewhere in that Dropbox. And then if we could just coordinate via email
Okay.
by the end of next week, I would think that would be really good so that I can get back to the county.
Okay.
Kate, is that something you're going to spearhead or manage, or does
Well, I'll do the street extent if you'll do the other thing.
what's the other thing?
I don't know, whatever it is.
Well, it's
Um,
the survey. And actually, I don't know that there's really anything to do with the survey because the information won't change except for
yeah,
the election year.
Okay.
right.
So that should be
Because
pretty.
it's always a Monday, blah blah. It's not the fifth or the right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And that'll be good because then that'll make us start working backwards
Yeah.
when we find out the ugly truth, which is the election is in a week and a half from now.
It always is that way. It's
Is
like
it sure
tomorrow.
enough? Sure enough. Okay. All
Um,
right. Okay.
yep. So
Okay.
the only thing, Sarah, I wanted to mention is we have
Yep.
some town meetings coming up. The state of
Okay.
the town is coming up on the 16th of March, which I think is always a good opportunity to kind of hear about things that have happened or are happening.
Okay.
And then there's the two budget public hearings. I'm not sure yet where when the election budget will be on there. It falls under the mayor and council cost center. So just, you don't have to be there. I just wanted you to be aware of when those were happening.
I wanted to cut and paste off of the screen, but it's your screen, not my screen. Can you
Okay.
can you be can you be a wonderful friend and just email me those things,
Yep,
and I'll put them on my calendar, and I'll certainly show up and
that's
be.
awesome. That would be
Okay.
great. I'll send those over to everybody. Actually, I'll send you a meeting invite. Would that be
Okay.
helpful?
Great.
That would
That
be
would be
So it goes
fantastic.
right
terrific.
on your calendar.
Yep.
Um,
And
and
then
then
if
the
you,
next
if
board
you,
meetings we've already got scheduled. So
Right.
and if you find that the elections are going to be talked about on the 13th or the 20th, or just let us know, and then we only
sure.
have to show up at one time. Although the rest of the budget is actually more interesting than I ever expect it to be. I still want to
No,
not.
there is. I know some people find it to be very boring, but look, we put so much time into the narrative part of it and like the
Oh,
analysis piece of it. So
the
anytime you
amount of work you guys do is amazing. It's
kind
impressive.
of,
Yeah,
kind of, so
I know budgets are really difficult, and then you have all these people with ideas.
we need those. We need the ideas. That's the important part. So,
Okay.
okay. I don't have anything else. But thank you for this was a
Okay.
good
No,
meeting, I think.
thank you.
Okay.
And
Anybody else have anything? Or are we all set?
I
Okay.
think we are. I
Okay.
think we are. Okay.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
Take
everybody.
care. Bye-bye.
All right. See you next
Everybody,
time.
good night.